Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now today I wanted to spend some time going into JASMY and looking at if whether right now would be, possibly a good time to buy or not. Now let me be clear, this is not a, recommendation or a buy signal or anything like that. Obviously, you need to be doing your own research and making your own investment decisions. But what I'm hoping that this video can be used as is a general sense of kind of getting a state of the JASMY market, where we're at, how the chart looks, and overall what they're trying to do, and maybe using some other comparisons within the crypto market to see what the future possibilities for JASMY do look like. So with that being said, let's go on ahead and dive right in. All right, so getting started, as we can see, this is the JASMY chart. I've already drawn some lines here to kind of give us a sense of kind of at least what I'm seeing in the chart technically. So the reason I added this box down here is because this to me overall looks like kind of a good like buy and sell zone. So as we can see, towards the bottom of this zone, there's been a lot of support, and then also previously resistance before it was turned into a support. And then also towards the top here as well, we've seen it's historically, it's been a pretty good point of resistance as well as also a point of support. So, I don't necessarily believe that, in technical analysis, there has to be a straight line to indicate, the one price at where we have support or resistance. Sometimes I think it can be more of like a zone area. However, for those of you who just have to have a line drawn, I did draw a line here. If I had to pick kind of one particular position at where I would be drawing a line, I think this is kind of where I would put it, just because it does kind of, we see a lot of support here, resistance here, support and resistance here, support here. So, I think this overall, would probably be the best, like, closest fit line. But like I said, I do think that, sometimes it's more of a zone rather than a line. But, overall, technically what we can see is we are kind of falling into a wedge pattern. Price is consolidating. Now, again, we don't ever know, what's going to happen in the market. But historically, falling wedges are generally seen as a bit more of a bullish signal. I would also say kind of where we're at in the market from just a macro perspective, I think that this would make sense. So, if I personally were to be buying, which I will be, now honestly looks probably like a decent time, because we are sitting on a point of support. We are kind of, I would imagine, somewhat soon going to be pushing against this trend line. And so what we would need to see from JASMY in order to see a substantial move to the upside would be a break out of this trend line. And if that's going to happen, obviously that would be happening soon. The other reason why this, I think, could be a good time to buy is because since we don't know what is going to happen in the market, we do need to be prepared for the possibility that we could see a break to the downside. And this to me looks like it kind of a maximum risk return point of opportunity, right? Because if we break down out of here, especially if we're using this line as like kind of our make or break point, we can see relatively clearly when this is broken, and then we can cut our losses. Where if we see the move up here, and let's say we were to buy in at this point when it's about to cross the line and then it breaks down, there's a lot more of a risk being taken to confirm that this line will be broken if we buy up here than down here. So that's kind of a way that I look at it. Again, given that it is a zone, I do think it is possible that maybe we do see a breakdown, and maybe we find support on this point, and then maybe take another run at this trend line. So I do think that is possible. If that were to happen, I think we would see kind of a falling wedge, maybe looking a little bit more like this, if I had to just draw a quick line at it. And then at that point, we can see we do have some space to kind of run down through what this line would be, but still not necessarily break that falling wedge. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Now, moving on, in my last JASMY video, I did get some questions regarding the personal data locker. So I figured it might be a good idea to kind of go into that a little bit more specifically, and we can see how that works. So here, this is on JASMY's site, and they actually have a list where they go over all the key components to their ecosystem. Maybe we'll go over all of them in a different video, but today I wanted to hone in just on the personal data locker specifically. So reading straight from the JASMY site, we can see that this personal data locker is a content addressing solution that allows secure storage of files within the peer-to-peer network. Data files are stored within the decentralized network, while only hash values are managed on the blockchain. By combining this decentralized storage solution in connection with the user-owned IDs, the weakness of a pure blockchain system, for example, the incapability of storing large files in a single block, or the slowdown of approval speed due to large size of files, is solved. Users can manage their own data like a wallet or a safe deposit box. In addition, with Jasmy's original blockchain technology, data cannot be tampered with or stolen, and the process of data usage can be tracked. In addition, the use case with personal data lockers, call centers do not need to keep excessive records, thus ensuring optimal information management and a smoother, high-quality response. So essentially, what this means is that you are allowed to store your data in this personal data locker, and you have access and control over it. Your data does not get posted to the blockchain. It actually gets posted within the decentralized storage network that they have in a way that's fragmented and not necessarily like trackable or assignable to you as an individual user. This is useful because essentially what it shows is it shows that the information is on the blockchain network, but it's not necessarily on the blockchain network for everybody to see. So, this is good from like a data privacy or a data like anonymous point of view, which I do think is good. The other thing I got a couple questions about in my other video as well was, how is this data collected or managed or things like that. And that's something where, you have your own, you've got your own control over this data locker, so you can choose what data you want in. And also in addition to that, when vendors are looking to reach out to you to use your data and pay you for that, you can either accept or decline if you actually want to have your data shared or not. So you do have a lot of flexibility and a lot of control over your data. It's not just out there waiting to be taken advantage of by data brokers and whatnot like it is currently. So that's something that I think is very important to note and is very important to mention and highlight. So the next thing I wanted to do is, we've talked a lot about potential Jasmy price predictions and comparing them where they are at in the market. And so one company that I wanted, or one project in the crypto space that I wanted to compare to, was Filecoin. So there's a lot of information currently up on the screen right now, but what I wanted to focus on were two things in particular. So the first thing we can see is the market cap is at $2 billion. The other thing, which is I think probably more important than that, is we see a fully diluted market cap of $7.1 billion. Now, for anybody unfamiliar with Jasmy's tokenomics, Jasmy is almost fully diluted at this point. So Jasmy has like just over $1 billion market cap, and their fully diluted market cap is like 1.08 billion or something. It's like very, very minimal, basically inconsequential. But what we can see with Filecoin is that is not at all the case. This is 3.5 times what the current market cap is. And so what I've scrolled down to already on the CoinMarketCap page is they actually show you the token unlocks and give you a schedule of what that looks like. So what we can see here is this is an unlock schedule where we can see, where we're at as of today, and then what things look like going all the way down into the future. So as we can see, just based on this chart, there's well over half of the tokens left to be released to circulating supply, which means that there's going to be a bunch of sell pressure likely on Filecoin, or there's not going to be a bunch of sell pressure, and we realistically should be comparing Jasmy to this fully diluted market cap of 7.2 billion. So whichever way you want to look at it, I do think it is pretty bullish news for Jasmy, right? If we look at this current market cap, that's double what Jasmy is at currently. If we look at this market cap, it's about 7x what Jasmy is currently. And also keep in mind, Jasmy has been regulated by a government, which is one of the only crypto companies to have done so. So that itself, I would say carries a premium in some respect, just because a lot of the crypto regulations and uncertainty that we're seeing is not necessarily an issue, at least for, within Japan for the Jasmy token. And I think internationally it will pull a lot more weight as well. So that's one thing that I wanted to compare Jasmy to is Filecoin, because we can see Jasmy, I would say, actually maybe has a bit more of a comprehensive approach than Filecoin, because Filecoin is purely data storage, where Jasmy is also trying to get IoT and essentially IoT storage and cloud management in there. So that is something that I think if we go down the decentralized AI route, that could be massively useful, because let's say, like Ring doorbells or the video doorbells, those are something that would be considered an IoT device. it would be very useful if Ring or a similar video doorbell company that's maybe trying to break into the market and compete with Ring, if they could get a whole bunch of doorbell like video data to then maybe, let's say, create an AI model that has a little bit better like package recognition software, or maybe there's an improvement. Like one of my problems that I have with my video doorbell currently is every time I walk inside, it lets me know that there's somebody at the door, which obviously I know somebody's at the door because it's me, right? It would be really interesting if maybe they could harvest all this data, which again, we would get paid for, which is currently not the case, which we would get paid for. And then, maybe they could create some sort of AI model, which every time it sees me and recognizes my face, it's not gonna, I'm not gonna be bothered with with seeing that I'm at my own front door because I know that. So that's something that I wanted to bring up, in relation to Filecoin. The last thing I wanted to note is this post that I saw on Twitter, X, sorry. So this post that I saw on X is from Cryptic Crypto, and he essentially highlights a lot of the really strong or like core concepts of JASMY. And one thing that he mentions, and I do think this is something that I think a lot of people do hold a lot of conviction in, but this is something that I want to call to specifically for JASMY, is because, this isn't, and I very much share this opinion of that this just isn't about financial gain. Obviously that is a very nice bonus, but it's about aligning with a vision where data isn't just a commodity, but a right? Like currently none of us control our own data. And I think there's something deeply problematic with that, because if you don't control your own data, then like what really do you control? Because essentially a lot of who we are and what we do can be essentially kind of boiled down or retraced into data. And so I think this is something that's very problematic with kind of how just the world and the industry has unfolded in recent years. And so it's something that we should really be very cognizant of. So if you want to read this whole post, just check out my Twitter channel. It is in my description. I have liked it, and I also believe I've reposted it. If I haven't, I will repost it just so you guys can all see it. But this is something that I do think is a very interesting tweet to read. So anyway, with that being said, that about wraps it up for my update video on JASMY today. Hopefully you did find the information valuable. If you did, please do like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. My channel is a brand new channel, and so I am trying to hit 100 subscribers by the end of September. I'm hoping that I can make that a possibility. So if the information I did provide is useful, please do leave a comment, like, subscribe, engage. It is very helpful for me. I also do read all my comments, so if you do have any questions or concerns, you'll be able to see on some of my previous videos, my previous JASMY video especially, there were some people who did have some questions that I was able to follow up on and help get them a better answer to. So, if you do have any questions or anything that you want to share, please do leave a comment. I will read that and get back to you. So anyway, that wraps it up for today. We'll see you in the next video.